Hello everyone and welcome back to another exciting episode of the X-Ring. Today we're going to take an in-depth look at the Sako TRG 22A1. So stick around. Alright, so before we get started, I'd like to give a big shout out to Beretta Holdings. Beretta is actually the importer and owner of Sako as well as Tikka, just to name a few, and I would like to give a big shout out to them because without them and sending in this rifle for review, I probably wouldn't be able to give you this review. Another big shout out to all my Patreon subscribers. I appreciate each and every one of you and thank you for supporting the channel. So let's talk about the Sako. So when you talk about tactical or quote-unquote sniper rifles, we're talking about production-built rifles that basically fill the role for professional use, such as military or police snipers. And you can't really say that in the same sentence without thinking about names such as Sako or Accuracy International or Barrett or Blaser or some of the other companies like that. Now, one thing you are going to find in common is most of these professional sniper rifles are not inexpensive. They are actually quite expensive regardless of any of the ones that you're talking about that I mentioned previously. And the same is the case with the Sako, the TRG, the 22A1. This rifle retails for right around $6,000. Street price is going to be about $5,500. But remember, it is built for duty use. Sure, you could go and have a custom rifle built for less, but that's typically not what you're going to see in a police or military application. So what we're going to do is talk about this rifle. We're going to shoot it. We're going to talk about everything about it, all the facets of it. I do really like this rifle, and the Sakos are really known for being just absolute tack drivers. I mean, it is not unheard of that with good quality ammunition that you're going to be able to get sub half minute of angle groups out of a professional weapon like this. And we're going to start at the back and work our way to the front. So one of the things that you're going to see in most of these professional rifles is they've all gotten away from your conventional stocks and kind of went over to chassis systems. Regardless of any of the names that I mentioned, that's what you're going to see. You're also going to see a lot of different adjustability, things that can be done with or without tools in some cases to fit a variety of shooters. So starting at the back, you do have a butt pad here. This does have good cushioning on it, but not too soft, and this is adjustable. There is a button on the other side, and just by merely pressing the button, we can raise or lower the butt pad on this. Now, as far as the cheek riser, from both sides, you actually have a little button here. If I press this, this will actually lift the cheek riser. There is also one on the other side, and just by depressing it again, we should be able to push that down. This cheek riser is a hard rubberized texture. It's kind of a soft touch. It feels really good on the face. You know, I don't like any type of metal cheek riser. You don't really see those much anymore. Most of us are putting felt on it. As far as the length of pull, you have a lever here on this side as well as on the other side that when you press this, we can actually adjust the length of pull. Now, all of these are spring loaded, so you can just go to the outward position. You know, most people run these out too far. Your average length of pull for most people when you're measuring it somewhere around 13.5 inches from the front of the trigger. So if you need it and you have a longer length of pull, then of course that's a great way to be able to adjust it. On the bottom here, you do have kind of a bag rider. This also enables you to kind of pull the stock in to you with this bottom portion. This can be removed, exposing a Picatinny on the bottom if you're one of those that actually use something like a monopod or something. Now, as far as the grip, this does come with interchangeable grip panels. Right now, this is the way that it ships. You can make this longer, and what that will do is it will adjust your reach on the trigger itself. So it does come with a couple of those replaceable panels. As far as the back of the stock, it is foldable. You know, one of the things you're going to see in most of your professional rifles is the ability to make it smaller, and it does have a folding stock. So there is a button on the rear here. If you press this button, this will allow you to close or retract the stock, basically to fold it over. There is a little bit of wiggle, but not much. When you actually put it in the lock position, it does keep the bolt from being able to lift, and you will see that is quite common with a lot of your professional rifles. Now, pressing the button again, we should be able to put it in the extended position. There is no play here. That's one of my biggest things about folding chassis is if I put it in the lock position and I have any type of movement, then that's a no-go, because typically you're going to have to put painter's tape or something like that so that we don't get any wiggle on that. Remember, these are precision rifles and we want them to be very precise, and we don't need any wiggling or loose pieces. Coming on the left side right here, you actually have a place for QDs to be able to attach slings, whether you have the grab style or whether you actually use the QD itself. This is very similar to the Tikka, like the T3. But remember, Sako owns Tikka. It's one company, but this is going to be the premium line of the rifles, although both of them are great rifles. As far as the bolt itself, you do have a 3-lug bolt that, as you would expect, is super, super smooth. It is a replaceable bolt knob. So one of the things that is unique about the Sako, the TRG, is the bolt release is actually on the right side. Typically you'll see it on the left side, but basically I can just press that, one-hand operation, and I should be able to take the bolt out. Now, the bolt is a 3-lug design. It is very similar in appearance to some of your Tikkas. I think this is about a 60 degree. I mean, it could be something odd like a 62 or something like that, but it is a short throw, and you do have the replaceable piece here to, if in case you broke the bolt knob or something, you could replace that. Now, another thing that's unique is if you look on the bottom of this bolt knob, you actually have a Torx. This looks like it's somewhere about a T10 or a T12, and that is actually a tool to be able to get into the toolkit. So this rifle actually has a toolkit for field use. It is located under this forend. Basically, if you use the end of your bolt knob, that is the tool to be able to remove this, basically, kit. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to unscrew this, and yes, we are out in the field. We're not in a clean, sterile environment or anything. And once I get this screw loose, I should be able to take off the bottom piece. Now, this bottom piece here, I'll show you an up close. This actually has all the tools that you need to be able to work on this rifle. Now, this does not have an interchangeable barrel system. This is not like the M10. The M10 is very, very expensive. It does have barrel change, quick change barrels, kind of like the AI, but you're looking at a price point of around $11,000 for that. Now, one of the things that makes this rifle so accurate is the barrel system. This actually has a cold hammer forged barrel. It is a 26-inch barrel, and this is actually chambered in 6.5 Creedmoor. But another thing that's unique about it is on the Sakos, they actually have cold hammer forged chambers. And by doing that, they can get an unbelievable level of concentricity because it's all done at the same time, and they can basically maintain the QC process every step of the way. So they are not cheap. They are very expensive rifles, but their QC and how often they change their tools is very costly. And of course, the production numbers, they're not going to sell them like a Ruger American. So yeah, the cost is going to be rather expensive. This is a full aluminum chassis system on the lower itself. I do like the design of it. It does remind me of the new Gen 3 CZ Scorpions, the way that they've put these panels in here. You do have in the trigger guard your safety. Now, on the safety itself, it's actually within the trigger guard. So let's say we wanted to engage the safety, you just pull back on it and your safety is engaged. Now, you will not be able to lift the bolt knob up. Now, this is something that you'll see quite common in a lot of your military rifles where they need something to be able to lift it while the safety is on. You'll see this in the Accuracy Internationals with the 3-position selector. And what they've chosen to do on the Sako, it's very unique, and I haven't heard anyone talk about this, but on the right side, just behind the bolt, you actually have a little lever here. So we can't lift it with the safety engaged, but if I press down on this lever, that will allow me to lift the bolt and open it while we are in the safety position. So it's one of those other things that makes it pretty unique. You guys can actually see that it actually moves that safety forwards to like a half position so that we could actually lift the bolt itself. As far as the magazine, it does use its own proprietary magazine. Now, it is a Sako magazine and it is expensive as well. Each 10 round steel mag is going to run somewhere right at $200. So it does ship with 2 steel mags, but remember, spare mags are going to cost you about $200. Your magazine release is located just forward of the trigger guard itself. It is a small paddle, which I actually like. Some of these magazine releases can be inadvertently engaged and you can drop your magazine when you don't plan on doing that. This is going to be something that's very purposeful. It is honestly the perfect size, I think, for a magazine release. Now, I have actually added the Arca Swiss rail. This is an Area 419 Arca Swiss rail. I just like the Swiss compatibility. Now, on most of your military style rifles, whether it's the AX or the AXSR or your Barretts or any of those rifles, you're not going to see an Arca Swiss. I think you'll probably see that later on, but what you're seeing is mostly Picatinny, or you're going to actually see the M-LOK, and this is full of M-LOK. You have it at the 130, the 3 o'clock, the 430, all the way around positions so that you can attach things like night visions and thermals, laser pointers and all of that. And one of the things you're going to see about these military rifles is that the handguard is extremely rigid so that you don't have any type of flexing or deflection when you're using those accessories in conjunction with the rifle. Now, this does come with a threaded barrel. Now, unlike the past where these were all metric 18s, 18 by 1s, this does come with a threaded barrel protector. It also is threaded in 5H24, so big kudos to them for that. You also have a little cutout here, and that is going to be for the muzzle brake. What we're going to do is we're going to actually take this off. We're going to put a suppressor on there. I like to shoot suppressed. We'll probably throw an Area 419 Maverick on there. Big shout out to Area 419. A lot of the stuff on here, the rail and the mount here, is provided by Area 419. I do have the Thunder Beast bipod on here. It's still one of my most favorite bipods just because it is so quick to deploy. So in a nutshell, that's the rifle. I think it's time to actually shoot it now, and then we'll talk about some other things that I do want to address that I didn't like about the rifle. All right, now what good would a review be without talking about the ammunition that we're using? This is the Sako, the TRG Precision Ammunition. Guys, this stuff will shoot with the best of the best match ammunition. This actually shoots, and remember it's 6.5 Creedmoor, this actually shoots the CNR L 136 grain. It's an open tip match, and I've seen really good SDs. It'll typically be just right at 10 to 12, somewhere in there. The velocity is great with that 136 grain bullet, and they're using premium bullets and premium cases for this. All right, so we're at the 100-yard range, and you know what they say, the proof is in the pudding. We are shooting the Sako, the TRG. I do have the Garmin, the Zero, so I'll get you an SD on this ammunition and everything else here in just a moment. Let's go ahead and take 5 rounds. I have a camera going on down range at 100 yards, and we'll see what kind of group we can get at 100 yards. Let me go ahead and get my eyes and ears on. All right, so no suppressor or anything like that. All right. All right, so here we go. Tip of the top left red. Here we go. Cold bore. And there you go. That's a nice little 4-leaf clover. All right, so the standard deviation is 12.6 with an extreme spread of 35. One of those shots in there is actually what skewed it, because up at the 4th shot we were a standard deviation of 8 with an average of 2791. So it is some unbelievable ammo, and when you pair these two up, it just shoots really well. That's not the best group it's ever done, but remember, it's a 5-shot group, not a 10-shot. We don't do 3-shot groups on the channel. better than sub-minute of angle, and I've seen this actually shoot much better. We do have some gusty winds out there. That's probably what attributed to that, but I'm not making excuses for it. It did exactly what it was supposed to do. Okay, so across the valley here, we do have a target array out there. I'm just gonna pick, there's a half-size IBSIC. I'm using the SIG 10Ks. These are great binos, by the way. So I've got 652 yards. This one's saying 3.9 mils. I think as cold as it is, I'm gonna drop it down to about 3.6. I'm gonna drop it down to about 3/10. Using the 136 grains, what we're gonna do is we're gonna load, let's say, 3 rounds into this metal mag. They do feed in nicely. It basically is a double stack that feeds to a single, very similar to like an AICS, the way that it does that. Now I will tell you, when this was shipped to me, it actually did not feed, and the reason is they don't weld the back corners of this magazine. And I guess in shipping, these actually got pressed in and it was pushing the bullet down, so I just opened them up just a little bit, and I haven't had any feed issues whatsoever. The magazine seats super nice, very little wiggle, but let's see if we can get lucky. It looks pretty calm out here, but you can never tell at Big Ivy. So let's see. All right, I think we've got a little bit of right to left wind, so I'm gonna hold about 3/10 right, 652 yards. Here we go. All right, what a way to start off the morning. So, you know, whenever you're talking about precision rifles, they need to be able to do this time and time again, okay? You should be able to know your cold bore. You should be able to get rounds on the target. And that was a good solid hit. It was just a little bit right of center, but I think the call was actually good. There is another target way up the mountain there. I'm gonna adjust the cameras, but I'm gonna keep it rolling, and let me see what kind of distance we have up there. That is going to be, that's a poke. That is 832 yards, 5.7. I'm gonna back it off probably 2/10, just because, like I said, the temps. And let me just adjust the camera so you can see it, but I'm not gonna stop the filming. All right, so what we're gonna do is we'll try to do that one up at the top. It's kind of a higher angle. It's another reason why I dropped it down just a little bit, but let's see if we can do this. It'd be a cool shot if we can hit this. All right, a little bit of a hang up there. Well, 4/10 right, and here we go. Okay, and so we didn't get a feed on it, so that magazine is being a little bit funky. I've got 2. The other one is a perfect magazine. That's an impact. That was actually pretty center, just a hair left. So just another 1/10 of a wind call I think would have been perfect. But that's a great shot at 830 something yards. There's actually another little small IBSIC up here. Let me see what we've got on it. See if we can get 3 rounds, 3 impacts. This one is 736 yards, calling for 4.8. I'm gonna drop it down 2/10. We'll go 4.6. Let's see if it feeds this time. Nope. So a little bit of issue with the magazine, and that wouldn't make me happy. So that is something that needs to be addressed. All right, here we go. 732, holding 2/10. Impact. Guys, the precision of these Sakos is unparalleled. There is just almost nothing like the Sakos. this thing will print sub half all day long. And with this Sako ammunition, .3s are actually quite regular. So guys, other than the magazine, no issues whatsoever. So let me load up another mag since we're here, and let's see if that other mag feeds a little bit better. This, I know for a fact this is the one because it had some marks from shipping on it. Let me grab the other mag. All right, what we'll do is we'll do that same array of targets, but what we'll do is we'll just do holdovers. So we'll just call it 3-5, 4-6, 3-5, 4-5, 5-5. I should be able to do that, and that's just getting it close enough. So let's take 3 rounds. See if we get 3 impacts. I don't know if we can or not, but we'll try it. This is the new magazine, and I know this one was perfect from the factory. All right. So we'll just do 3-5, 4-5, 5-5. And here we go. Man, that's smooth. 3-5. Impact. 4-5. Impact. And 5-5. Impact. 3 for 3 with no issues. This is what you can expect out of a $6,000 Sako. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw the suppressor on here. The Area 419 Maverick, man, these things just, they continue to impress me. The only thing about the Sakos, unless you have an M10 that has the interchangeable barrel system, I will go ahead and be upfront with you that rebarreling one of these is actually going to be quite a chore. It does have to go back to Finland because they are hydraulically pressed into the receivers. This is why you get the type of accuracy that you get. So you're not going to be able to spin it off or have your favorite gunsmith spin it off. But that is a service that they'll provide. So that is one of the detractors of the TRG 22. However, with that caveat, it is not unheard of to get almost twice the firing cycle life out of these barrels than you would over a conventional barrel. That's at least what I've heard of folks that have them, that have shot them, 6,000 rounds out of a 6.5 Creedmoor without any type of reduced accuracy, still shooting sub-MOA. A little bit of reduction in accuracy, but still shooting sub-MOA is not unheard of. But this ammunition is awesome. Hardest thing about this ammunition is actually finding it. Let's do some more. Now guys, this is not a PRS rifle by any stretch of the imagination, but what I've done is I've added the Area 419, the Maverick on here. This thing begs to have a suppressor on it, and with that Maverick in the shorter configuration, not the shortest, you've got decent sound reduction and you're not adding a ton of length to the barrel that's already 26 inches. So what I'll do is I'll just straddle this post. This changes our yardage just a little bit. And here we go. See if we can do this. Impact. Let's go all the way back up to the top. Okay, so the wind switched up there. Elevation was perfect. It was just off right. Let me go ahead and grab another round. Because one of the things I like to do with these precision rifles is just be able to drop one in the chamber and see if it feeds. And it doesn't. So that's one of the things you need to know. You're going to have to kind of get it fed in there. It just kind of noses straight into the chamber portion. So being able to drop one in like that without feeding it could be problematic. So like I said, it is a full review, and you guys know I'm all about full disclosure. Let's see if we can follow this back up. Hold about 5.5 on this one and just off the other side. And that's an impact. And that's about 800-ish yards. So I guess I'm going to go ahead and give you my review of this rifle and tell you what I think about it. Okay, so I absolutely love this rifle. I'm hoping to be able to purchase it after review, but it is a lot of money. Anytime you're paying close to $6,000 for a rifle, that is in a whole nother ballpark, okay? But the fit, the finish, the quality, the name is there. And yes, it's Sako, not Sako. It is not a watch. But if you own one, call it whatever you like, right? I don't want to get into that whole thing, but you know, most of these premium brands that come from overseas, we all pronounce them wrong. You know, you've got, everybody says Lapua and it's Lapua. And then you've got, you know, like Kales. How do you pronounce that? It's Kalas. And so with a lot of these European manufacturers, they have their way of saying it, but like I said, you call it whatever you want, but we can't even get the US stuff right because it's Leopold, not Leupold. Leupold is actually the correct one, but that is also, I think, going to be a family name. So, you know, tomato, tomato, right? But back to the review. I love the rifle. The rifle is phenomenally accurate. And when I say phenomenally, I mean phenomenally. It will shoot with the best of the best, even your best custom rifles. What I don't like is the fact that I can't change the barrel. But keep in mind that it does have a long barrel life and you're getting that cold hammer forged, not only barrel, but also receiver in it. So it is going to have to go to Finland, but if this is a rifle that you own, you probably have other rifles as well. So no issues on that. I really do wish that it had an Arca Swiss incorporated into it, but it's not the end of the world because you don't see that in most of your professional rifles, and it is easy enough to add an Area 419 or some other type of Arca rail on it. As far as the trigger, it is a two-stage trigger and it is phenomenal. It is adjustable from 2 to 4 pounds and you can do that very easily. It has all the tools in it, the toolkit, the adjustable grip, the adjustable back end with the cheek risers, length of pull, and the butt pad. The package is done right. And how can you go wrong? You have all of that together. What I don't like is I don't like the magazines. The magazines, like I said, this one feeds 100% perfectly, but it seems like they would have welded the tab on the back. But then again, maybe they do that so that you can adjust them or tune them, very similar to like a double stack 1911 magazine. This one, like I said, feeds perfectly. $200, a little bit much for a magazine, but I'm sure that the volume's not high. And like I said, it doesn't always work perfectly. That one that was shipped, like I said, it just maybe got a little cramped up in packaging, and that's what adjusted those feed lips wrong. As far as the rail, that's something I forgot to mention. This comes with an integrated 30 MOA rail. So you need to be very careful. So if you had a 20 MOA scope assembly on there, now you're at 50 minutes and that's going to be too much. You're going to be working out of the top or not even working out of the scope itself. You might not be able to do that. So just be aware you do have a 30-minute of angle constant taper that continues on down to the handguard. The handguard is extremely robust for mounting accessories. You actually have a slot in here that interlocks, so you're not going to get any type of twisting or rotation out of the handguard. I like that it's threaded in the 5H24, but this thing, like I said, it begs to have a suppressor mounted onto it. Otherwise, it is a phenomenal rifle. I can't say enough good things, but there are a couple of caveats in there about a few things that I don't like. Once again, big shout out to Beretta for allowing me to review this rifle. It is a phenomenal rifle. So hopefully one day I can maybe through this relationship get an M10 on the channel with the interchangeable barrels, and we can do that in conjunction with, you know, the Barrett MRAD that I have, as well as the Accuracy Internationals, whether it's the ATX or the AXSR, and maybe we can get all of those together in one video, and I think that would actually be a cool video. So I'm very impressed with the rifle. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know it's a long review, but I wanted to do this rifle justice because a lot of people wonder what they're getting for that extra difference in money. Because a lot of people say, well, the Tikka shoots just as well and it's the same as the Sako. And that's not the case. While they do shoot well, you're not going to see all of this as a true professional rifle out of the Tikka line, although the Tikka T3 is one of my favorite rifles, and I've always recommended it for newer shooters that were wanting to get into long range. So it's just phenomenally accurate using the same cold hammer forged barrel process. I wouldn't be surprised if the barrels that don't make it in this process go to Tikka, because they're still going to be awesome barrels. So I hope you guys enjoyed that review. I'm actually going to be going next week. I'm going to be shooting with a gentleman that invited me to shoot with him at the Guardian Tactical down in Dothan, Alabama at Arena. So we're going to try to do that. We'll see if my health holds up for that. You know, me doing a lot of physical activities like sprinting. I'm just not quite there yet, but I'm getting there. And then the week after that, I'll be doing the Snipers Unknown, and that will be in Clinton, South Carolina. So I am trying to stay busy and trying to bring you guys good content and stay relative. So I hope you guys have a great week. We'll talk to you soon, and big shout out to all my Patreon subscribers. You guys here, you guys help me be able to do what I am doing right now. So you guys take care. Have a great week. God bless, and we'll talk to you soon. All right, what we're gonna do now is we are gonna go for top left. Top left. I have all the cameras going. Yeah, you notice how it actually shifted to where it was supposed to shift? Now we are at 100 yards. This is a little more indicative of what you'll see without a brake. And that, my friends, is the Sako TRG 22. It's always going to print like about half a minute with good quality ammunition, especially with this Sako ammunition. But I knew something was a little off, and it just doesn't like the weight of this on there. But it's still good enough to be sub-minute, shoot any match or anything like that. And I don't want to shoot it this way because I want to try to mitigate that recoil, or tame it down so that if I'm going long range, I can at least spot some of those impacts or misses, whatever the case is. So let me go ahead and screw this back on. It really shouldn't mess up my zero. We are clear, we're clear. All right, so I'm gonna kind of move the camera so you guys can see kind of down range what's going on. And then of course I will have the Olin kind of looking down range. Unfortunately, this is about all I have for magnification. And what we'll do is we will start off at 500. There is a little small 5-inch steel. It is truly a 5-inch steel at 500 yards. All right. That's an impact. You guys saw it. Just a hair high, but perfect impact. Here we go again. There's two in a row at 500. Let's see what we can get at, let's say, and guys, this is super easy. 600 yards, 3.5. Let me go ahead and move the camera up here. That's 600 yards there. So, and the accuracy of these TRGs are just phenomenal. It's just point and shoot. And then you pair it up with ammo that it likes and you are super good to go. Yeah, my bag doesn't want to go up high enough here. All right, good enough. Let's make that work. Running out of daylight, folks. Here we go. All right, now let's see if we can go 700. Guys, you're watching this like one continuous run, so can't make this up, you know, just doing it as I go. So here we go, 700. 700 is 4.5. That's some easy numbers, right? Let me go straight on up with the camera here. All right, so we've got an 8-inch circle on the left. We'll try it, right? What do we got to lose? All right, so 700. Check level. Load bipod, pulling the shoulder slightly, and here we go. Impact. You guys got to see that. Let's go for the little bit bigger square steel off to the right. Oh, missed it, got in a hurry. All right, since I've got 3 rounds left of this TRG ammo, let's go ahead. Let me check my barrel temp, make sure we're not too warm. No, we're still good. Let me go for that steel off to the right, the little square one. Here we go. Dink. It's too easy, guys. It really is. And you know, you really do get what you pay for in some of these production rifles.